here to take us through the case is criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Josh, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So these charges that are being faced by Senator Menendez are so serious. He's facing up to 20 years in prison if he gets convicted. Can you walk us through the indictment and tell us just how explosive these charges are or aren't?
Yeah, these are really explicit, and this is the kind of case that a lot of people understand. You know, unlike some of the other big political trials going on, this is straight up old-fashioned corruption. What's being accused is that these international business people went and paid Senator Menendez and his wife Nadine. They compensated them with gold bars, cash, and all that was in exchange for beneficial treatment using Senator Menendez's discretion and power as a member of the powerful Senate Foreign Rules Committee. This is really big stuff because this is what people think about when they get to corruption. Senator Menendez faces 20 years in prison if convicted of these cases. And remember, there's actually going to be 2 trials in this case. Senator Menendez goes to trial on Monday, but his wife Nadine, due to some medical issues, isn't going to be tried until July. And that creates some pretty big defense issues.
Yeah, well, Senator Menendez has denied these charges in 2023. Let's take a listen to that.
For 30 years, I have withdrawn thousands of dollars in cash from my personal savings account, which I have kept for emergencies and because of the history of my family facing confiscation in Cuba. Now, this may seem old-fashioned, but these were monies drawn from my personal savings account based on the income that I have lawfully derived over those 30 years.
Okay, so does this add up? What do you think of the defense that he's just outlined? Is that something that you think could hold up in court?
It's absolutely plausible. And in fact, earlier this year, we saw I carry a lot of cash as a defense in another prominent political case, that being with Fani Willis in Fulton County, Georgia, in the Trump case. Large amounts of cash for some people, culturally, it's absolutely acceptable, especially when someone might have a background in a country where there were profound abuses, such as Cuba. And Senator Menendez has really drilled down on the potential PTSD effects of his background and why he kept such large amounts of cash and bullion in his house. That's really strange to most of us, but he's going to try to explain that to him. That's the way you protect your family.
You got all this cash under my mattress here. I wonder why I'm so uncomfortable. Senator Menendez faced these kinds of allegations in 2017, but a mistrial was ultimately declared. Just reading my research here, with a deadlocked jury. So what will prosecutors need to do differently this time around if they want to ensure a successful conviction? That's obviously their goal.
Well, we obviously know they're going to have to set out the prima facie case, which is that these individuals, these foreign entity representatives, did attempt to bribe Senator Menendez and his wife Nadine. And one of those has actually already pled guilty and is going to be testifying against Senator Menendez and his wife Nadine in their trials. That's Mr. Uribe. So we're going to have a strong state's case. How did the defense respond to that? Well, we know already that Senator Menendez intends to basically throw Nadine under the bus and say, listen, my wife was getting bribed by these people. I didn't know anything about it. And while that may not seem like a straight-faced, honest defense to a lot of people, remember, proof beyond a reasonable doubt is the highest standard of evidence in the court system. It's the elimination of any reasonable doubt. And to me, that story might work.
Wow. Okay. So I want to go back to something that you mentioned earlier. She has some sort of medical condition that you said. The senator's wife also being indicted under those identical charges like we outlined, but being tried separately. Are there any other reasons behind it that you could, sort of see between the lines?
Absolutely. It's a huge strategic play, whether you're going to be tried with a co-defendant or whether you're going to get 2 separate and distinct trials, because that then allows you, to lack of a better term, throw people under the bus. You've got an empty chair at the table during your trial that as the defendant you can point to and say, listen, all this evidence, it's not just me, it's this other person here in court with us who's not actually here. And that creates empty, big questions in the jury's mind about what actually happened. It's a very successful way to defend multi-defendant cases.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, And you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.